Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. No adverse side effects reported in people who have taken the COVID-19 vaccines in Barbados. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 13th December 2021. Details when we return.
Conveniently located in the Grand Anne Shopping Centre, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grandans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Welcome back. No significant side effects have been found in any analysis of adverse events reported by anyone who have taken the COVID-19 vaccines in Barbados. Details in this Barbados Today news item.
The findings of the study conducted between February and September this year were revealed last night at a virtual forum entitled Pharmacovigilance, Monitoring the Safety of the COVID-19 Vaccines in Barbados, which was sponsored by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the Inter-American Development Bank. The analysis was conducted by independent researcher Chatur Bob.
In AstraZeneca vaccine, you had 411 adverse events reported, which the percentage of adverse events reported for the overall dosage of AstraZeneca vaccine administered was less than 1%. Likewise, for Pfizer, you only had 6 adverse events reported. Now, the Pfizer vaccine was introduced much later, and that may account for some of the differences in that we're seeing here, or the data looking biased towards you having greater adverse events reported for AstraZeneca, likewise for Sinopharm. But we see that also when we look at the proportion of adverse events reported, or the percentage of adverse events reported after the Pfizer and Sinopharm vaccines, it is also less than 1%.
Meantime, the Barbadian government has defended its decision to transition from sugarcane to medicinal marijuana, indicating that the sugarcane industry was no longer generating the returns expected.
The Barbados government said that the event placed the spotlight on Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, BMCLA, and opportunities available for all to participate in medicinal cannabis industry there. The statement said that the meeting last Thursday heard that the decision to explore this avenue hinged on 4 fundamental pillars, including that Barbados intends to be a hub or center of excellence in research and development, R&D, in medicinal cannabis, and is anticipating that it would provide the country with a unique opportunity to present a unique cultivar, giving the best strain known in the world, to position it as one of the best in the industry in R&D.
In other news, Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown responds following criticisms about late pension payments. More in this ABS News report.
A recent picket of the Social Security scheme with members of the main opposition United Progressive Party featuring prominently. The concern expressed was that the scheme has not been paying pensioners on time, and this is unconscionable, especially amidst the challenges brought on by the pandemic. This was the response from Prime Minister Honorable Gaston Brown.
I found it to be one of the greatest deceptions that the individuals who contributed towards the insolvency and, if there's such a word, inviability of the scheme, that they had the gumption to go there and to picket my administration, when they well know that they're the ones who helped to exacerbate the problem.
Prime Minister Brown told us the blame cannot be placed at the feet of his administration and again made reference to this Eastern Caribbean Central Bank document. The document, which examines pension schemes across the currency union, shows the fund in Antigua was in peril and insolvent in 2010. Prime Minister Brown explained his administration introduced reforms since coming into office in 2014.
And made the appropriate legislative changes. And that is why we're able to keep the scheme viable up until 2020, when revenues were decimated by COVID. But the government stepped in, and I would say we would have literally doubled. If I'm exaggerating, we would have probably paid maybe about 80% more than what we're required to pay in order to keep the scheme afloat since April of 2020. So it shows strong commitment by my administration to ensure the viability or the continued viability of Social Security.
He insists his administration has paid some $200 million into the scheme over the last 7 years, much more than any previous administration.
They say no good deed goes unpunished. So here we are the ones making all of the sacrifice to ensure that we keep the scheme viable. And they're out there literally providing misinformation to the beneficiaries to create hostility towards my administration, when we're the ones who are going extra mile to literally put monies into their pockets every month. I mean, this month alone, we would have paid in about $14 million into the scheme.
Further afield, to the north of the Caribbean, the Bahamas' Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell calls on bazaar owners to take action on derelict property in Freeport. This Eyewitness News report has more.
Foreign Affairs and Public Service Fred Mitchell, along with other government officials today, touring the ruins of the International Bazaar following the second blaze at the once popular tourist hub on the island. Minister Mitchell called on the property owners to take immediate action to have the site restored or revamped. He also called on Grand Bahama residents to agitate for change.
It's simply disgraceful in the middle of a developed, sophisticated city that this exists. It's a blight. It's been a blight for more than 10 years. After the hurricane, the people packed up and left these hotels here. The International Bazaar collapsed. And I remember the days when I used to live in the hotel, when this was a bustling place. Christmas time was a special time in and around this. And now you have the city just burning in front of your eyes.
Well, Mitchell argued that bazaar property owners dropped the ball and failed the residents of Grand Bahama.
Private city. It's a city which is owned by private developers. And their job under the Hawksbill Creek Agreement was to make sure that this city survives and to provide commerce for the Bahamas. And this is not, this cannot be the symbol of Grand Bahama and of Freeport. So I just came here. Progressive Liberal Party is just making a stand with the people of Freeport. We've not forgotten Freeport, despite the fact that Freeport voted against us in large measure. We have 2 members of Parliament here, so we have a responsibility for those who voted for us and those who didn't vote for us to make sure that this city survives.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Former First Vice President of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA, and St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association past President Carolyn Trubetskoy predicts a fresh challenge for Caribbean destinations and St. Lucia due to the new Omicron variant. Cecile Actil of NBC Prime reports.
Although significant restrictions are in place, travel agency adverts have become more frequent recently. According to reports, holiday bookings have once again begun to soar as people look beyond lockdowns. On a positive note, former Vice President of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA, and St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association, past President Caroline Trubetskoy stated that the Caribbean and St. Lucia are quite fortunate that visitor numbers have recovered quite speedily, but predicts that in the coming year, guests will have more options.
What you will see happen now is that other regions that have been closed for the majority of last year, they will also now open. So there is a lot more competition globally where guests can travel to. Naturally, with the latest Omicron confusion with restrictions, I can't tell you now which destination will remain open, but generally speaking, there's a lot more choice visitors will have again in the future than they had last year. Last year, the Caribbean did so well because it was one of the few destinations that visitors could visit safely in this pandemic situation.
As the Delta variant is being reduced in masses, the jubilant sense of relief many have been feeling may quickly dim. Tourism businesses that were just finding their footing after nearly 2 years of devastation wrought by the COVID-19 pandemic are being rattled again as countries throw up new barriers to travel in an effort to contain the Omicron variant. The CCHT past president states that the emergency of Omicron may spell disaster for the economy, not just locally, but globally.
Whether you look at it from an economic perspective for the entire island or whether you look at it from tourism, clearly we must be on the lookout. It will affect business, sadly, because any new travel restriction will immediately translate into cancellations. It is not just the inconvenience of having to do tests coming here, tests leaving here. It is really, I would say, the fear also that something could go wrong. So it does have an effect on our bookings for visitor arrivals. And that, of course, then has a trickle-down effect on every other aspect of the economy.
She says in an effort to prepare for what is to come, individuals must be prepared. The former first vice president of the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, CHTA, and the St. Lucia Hotel and Tourism Association past president echoed the sentiments globally that restrictions should not be too extreme and perhaps draw parallels between the Delta and Omicron variants. Omicron was first detected towards the end of November and arrived on the heels of the Delta variant that fueled the surge of new cases that pushed back the anticipated plans by some for travel. Cecil Actil, NBC Prime.
Dr. Gilberta St. Rose has been suspended for 6 months by the St. Lucia Medical Council for her prescribing of the drug ivermectin.
The council delivered its decision against St. Rose for prescribing and supplying the drug ivermectin to patients as a treatment for COVID-19 without authorization from the Ministry of Health or the Chief Medical Officer and publicly encouraging its use to treat the virus. A document obtained by St. Lucia Times indicated that on receipt of written application from St. Rose before the end of 6 months, the council would review the suspension of her registration and practicing certificate once she undertakes in writing to cease. The document also prescribed paying a $10,000 fine to the council within 30 days because St. Rose conducted an unapproved and unmonitored clinical trial.
Conveniently located in the Grand Shopping Center, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grannans will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
But baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.